Because you've begun the good work in me. You're faithful and just to complete. Walking in transparency. Use it for your glory. Come and have a talk with me. Come and have a talk with me.
Hi, welcome to the very first episode of Transparent Talk. I'm your host, Ashleigh Barnett, and I am joined today with my very good friend, my brother in fact, Mr. David Wurie. We are joined by our lovely panel of guests. At the end, Rudolf, Brenyah, the founder of Unashamed TV. Next to him, we've got Leverne, Wright, the founder of Connect 2.0 Outreach. And we've got Natalie Casey, the founder of Arise magazine.
So I just had to pick up Arise as well.
Yeah, so today's talk is about the big jump. The big jump, looking into what it takes to really step out and go after your dreams. Step out and do something that you've really been longing to do for quite a while, or sometimes even from childhood, but you've never actually plucked up, that whether it be courage or whatever it is, you've never plucked it up to actually take the steps. So that's what we'll be looking into today. There's a campaign, if you like, out, and Idris Elba is, I say, leading the campaign, and he's done a video where he asks adults, what do you want to be when you grow up? Let's have a look at the clip.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hello, Idris.
Hello, Glenn.
All right, Glenn.
Christopher.
Hi, Christopher. How you doing? You all
Good,
right?
thanks.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I like that.
When I grow up. Thanks.
Oh, that's a good question.
When I grow up, I'm quite well grown.
I mean, you do realise that you're still growing, right?
Oh, no, you never stop learning, do you?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
So, what do you want to be when you grow up?
So the dream?
The dream.
I want to make quilts, amazing quilts.
I'd like to play drums, actually. I don't think I've told anybody that before.
Madonna.
Madonna.
Just look after the people I love.
I've always wanted to be an actor.
Spoken word artist.
Hot air balloon pilot.
Football coach, I think. You know.
Football coach. What do you think's stopping you from doing it?
Time, like, it's just taken years to get to where we are now.
Gets to a certain point in your life where if it hasn't happened, you think that it's never going to happen.
You kind of lose a little bit of ambition and then you just kind of ride along.
I don't think people have enough time to dream, bro.
Unfortunately, life does get in the way of your dreams, I guess.
If you really had the opportunity, would you take the chance?
100%.
Really?
I wouldn't even think about it.
What if I said to you, I'd like to help you get your qualifications as a pro coach?
Oh, my God.
I'm going to set you up with the kit so you look the part. I'm going to take you down to QPR, the women's football team there, as a coach. And he's agreed that you can be his assistant for the day. Martino?
Hi, nice to see you.
This is Noreen.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
You up for that?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's go.
When we're kids, we play, we think, we dream, but as an adult, we kind of like slow down very quickly. There she is. Myself and Purdy's, we think that people shouldn't stop growing. They should always challenge themselves.
Hold it there. Foot on the ball. Thank you, guys. Great effort.
No matter what stage they are in life, people shouldn't stop dreaming. They should thrive on.
So as you can see, Idris Elba talks about people who have dreams, want to go into certain things. And I remember when I was growing up as well, my dreams of what I wanted to become changed. When I was younger, under the age of 8, I always wanted to be a police officer. And then all of a sudden, I don't know why. And then all of a sudden I grew up, I was in my teens, and then I always wanted to be a footballer, and then that all changed, and then before I went to uni, I always wanted to be a journalist. So as you can see, as I grew up, you know, things changed. My perceptions of, you know, different professions changed. And I think the question goes out to you, Rudy, because obviously we've known each other since we were, you know, since 15 or so. What's your dreams always been like?
I think for me, growing up, obviously I grew up in Amsterdam as a young kid. The two things that my passion was in was obviously sports and music. My family will tell you embarrassing stories about me running around pretending to be like Michael Jackson, you know, wearing an outfit, wearing my mum's wig and all of that stuff, pretending to have long hair. Yeah, man, really embarrassing stories. I used to tape myself as well. Music was one of my things that I used to want to be. I didn't know if I wanted to be an artist or whatnot. And another thing was, well, in my area where I grew up, it's called Belmer in Amsterdam. Football was like the dominant sport there. So for me, I only realised I was a good player when, obviously, David would tell you, if you get picked first all the time, yeah, means it's a good sign. Like, if you get picked last, you don't want to get picked last. That's not a good sign at all. So for me, so those are the two areas that, you know, but as David said, when you grow up, you tend to turn in different directions and that. But thanks be to God, yeah, I'm some way, somehow still in the same industry. We've obviously Unashamed TV producing music, still currently play semi-professional football as well. So yeah, I mean, those are those two things. I mean, obviously I'm not playing Premier League football, but I'm still playing, you know, semi-professional, and I'm still doing the things that when I was young doing, but I don't dance around like Michael Jackson anymore. But you know what I'm saying, I'm still in the music.
And you got rid of the wigs, right?
Yeah, and I got rid of it.
So then, would you say then that your dream as a child, that you're living it now, you fulfilled it?
Yeah, I'm in the right step. It's funny because I was thinking about this while I was coming. I was like, yo, I didn't even think of it like that. Like I'm actually following these steps because when I was younger, I used to write lyrics a lot, but like I said, yeah, I started doing a bit of rapping, but then I just felt like I wasn't good enough, yeah, so, but I've always been a writer, so I think music's always been part of me, and it's funny enough that now, like with the Unashamed TV that I'm doing, you know, we're helping young people to get their music out there, to create a platform for them, so it's funny how things has worked out in the end, so yeah.
So I would also say as well, you know, throw it out to everybody here. Hi Nat, you alright?
Hi.
So obviously we'll talk about jump out, and jumping out is basically, you know, thinking outside of the box, and a scripture that comes to mind is in Matthew 14, where obviously Jesus asked Peter to step out of the boat. Is there something that you would say in your life that you haven't achieved yet, that you haven't jumped out at? That goes out to both of you.
Yes, I would say so.
Do you want to go into more detail?
I would say I haven't fulfilled it yet, but I would say that I'm on the right path.
How long has it been?
I would say because of the fact that I left my job in 2014 to go and do my social work degree, and I think that part of that is me stepping out and on that path to do what it is that I think that I should be doing. That's what I would say. So I would say I haven't achieved it yet, but I have took a big jump, because when you're working, obviously you accumulate bills, and when you've got a child and stuff like that, it's very hard for you to then leave all of that behind to go and take up a degree where now the fees are like really high. So automatically you're starting your life out in deficit. Do you understand what I mean? And for you to think that, and then think that you're going to have to then, if you want to do a business after that, then you're still going to have to. So, I mean, it's hard. So I would say, yeah.
And Leverne, what advice would you give, you know, to a young person who's thinking about jumping out, stepping out? What advice would you give to them?
I think just having faith. You know, if you're a person of faith, it's just important to have faith in God, because He will cause everything to work out for the greater of our good, regardless. As long as we're doing things by His will, everything will work out. So try not to kind of, you know, take too much on board yourself and see yourself in it. Try and die to self. Try and take away as much as yourself from it as possible, and just let go. because it will be done. Everything will.
But honestly, like, it's not as easy as just have faith and go forth, and because otherwise we would all, probably everyone's dream probably was to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? We'd all have that million job, whatever it was, or, you know, whatever that idea was. So it's not always easy, you know, to step out and to jump out and to go after those things. Like, for example, like with your outreach that you do.
Yeah.
So how long did you have that idea for?
Oh gosh, it's been years. I have to say probably almost 10 years that I've always had, almost 10 years. I say like a strong desire for the last 7 years. And yeah, really just kind of enhanced when I've kind of had someone close to me who, you know, they kind of lived in a bad situation, kind of, and I just wanted, I know when I was trying to help them, there was just so many barriers. And so my desire to kind of set up an outreach whereby I'm helping people just really strengthened that. I just weren't stepping out thinking, okay, I'm going to wait until I have the money. It was always about money, waiting until, you know, let me just get a job, I do banking, I'm going to wait until I get the top of, you know, the banking level. And then when, you know, when I've become CEO, like, so to speak, of the, you know, of the bank, then I'll have all that money, and then I can set up my own outreach, you know, set up a whole, you know, company whereby, you know, a non-profit organisation whereby we're helping people. But it's literally only this year, this January, where I've literally just kind of just let go since coming to Christ. He's done it, like literally, he's just literally done it. Because for myself, I was just waiting for money. That's all it was, money. Literally, it wasn't, and I didn't really know much, but even not knowing much wasn't really, yeah, I can't say not knowing, you know, a lot in the area was holding me back. It was mostly just money. It was mostly just wanting to have the money to kind of build it up, because I know I want to, you know, pay people and everything. You're just thinking of all those things.
So, alright, so like paying people, so now that you've done it, are you paying anyone?
No.
See, no. So all of these things, we kind of build up this kind of way it should look in our minds of how it should be or how it will be, and it's actually not even that. So you're doing it and you're not paying no one, you know, but money's always an issue, isn't it? Money's always a fault that we have.
I think just to chip in on what she's saying, I think with a lot of young people, one thing that goes on, everyone has a dream, you get me? So the number one problem with people is, they think there's this thing that goes on like, I'm not ready yet, I need to get ready. You hear a lot of young Christians say, I'm waiting on God and waiting on God, which is good, but I believe sometimes God's waiting on us.
That's it.
Do you get what I'm saying? I believe that God puts something in your hand, and then He's waiting for you to do something, because what it is here, the Bible tells us that God has a plan for us, right? But the thing is, God has a plan for us, but He doesn't plan for us. Do you get what I'm saying? We have to plan for ourselves. He puts these skills and these gifts into you, inside every single person, but it's up to you to cultivate it, to become the next person. Do you get what I'm saying? So you find a lot of gifted people, they always be like, oh yeah, I'm waiting, do you know, I don't know, I don't think it's ready, I'm not ready. But the question is, you're never ready. Do you know what I'm saying? You're never ready, because when you hit that mark, maybe I'm trying to get £1,000, God gives you a bigger vision. Oh, now I need 20,000. Do you get what I'm saying? So I believe that when you start, like just you gave an example of Peter, when he took that first step, Jesus was like, oh, the secret in that message was that he had his eyes focused on Christ. The minute he took his eyes on Christ, he synced. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you talked about faith and belief, and I believe that we say that we believe God, but we don't. If you really believe God, you'll take that first step like Peter did. Because when you think, all the other disciples were chilling in they were still chilling about. He's the only one like, all right, if it's you, let me come there. Do you know what I'm saying? He's the one that like, I don't care, I know against nature, we can't walk on water, but I believe you, whatever you say, if you can do it, I know I can do it. So he took that step, and in the moment he took his eye off Christ, he sank. So I think for young people, I advise them that just keep your eyes on the goal, keep your eyes on God, because just take a step. Don't wait for this perfect moment, because there's no such thing as perfect moment.
I think though part of that is like you said, you have to know who God is.
Right.
You have to know the God that you believe in. So you have to know what He's capable of. You have to know the things that God did. I think that once you know who God is and the power that He has, I think that would drive you as well in order to go forward. Because like Rudy was saying, Peter knew who Jesus was.
Right.
So he knew, so it's not like it wasn't anybody else that he knew that he could. He said, yeah, that's you, Jesus. If it's you, I know I'll be able to walk on water. It's almost like he knew that if that was Jesus, he'd be able to walk on water. If we know the God that we believe in, we know that we'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that He's put inside of us. And I think that's one of the big secrets of it as well.
Like, because I think I know the God that I believe in, you know, He created heaven and earth. I do believe that I know my God, do you know what I mean? But I have all of these dreams and all of these visions that I haven't yet ventured out on and I haven't yet stepped out on. And I don't think it's because I doubt that God, or I actually don't think it's nothing to do with, like, as a matter of fact, it's God who I can say who's edging me on, saying, come on, Ashleigh, step out. You know, He's the cheerleader, encouraging me to go out and do these things. Whereas, so I do think it's not really, for me anyway, it's not really a thing of, I don't know the God that I serve. For me, I think, like you say, I guess what you're looking at, so it could be money, but I think my thing for myself as well is fear of, not necessarily fear of doing it, you know, but probably fear of going after it wholeheartedly. Do you know what I mean?
And it's not working out.
And yeah, probably it not working out, and then it just crashing, and then just it not. I think I'm a perfectionist as well, actually, thinking about it. I do, yeah.
But so have any of you, you know, started a new venture and stuff, and then, you know, you didn't finish it off, you know, it crashed and died down? Has that ever happened? Because I would be interested to hear if it did and how you pretty much handled the situation.
And did it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it affect you after?
Yeah. Okay. Arise didn't start off as Arise. It actually started off being named Uzziah magazine. And obviously we have people that sit over us, that oversee what we do on the district and stuff, and they wasn't happy with the name. So we had to change it. And the fact that you already had all these young people behind you sharing that vision with you, then all of a sudden they got told, no, sorry, you have to cut and stop what you're doing. It deflated them. And at the end of the day, I had to then be saying to them, no, come on, this is not, do you understand what I mean? I had to be picking them up. So even if you don't feel it yourself, even if I didn't feel it myself, even if I thought, what is going on here? I couldn't allow my team to see that in me. I had to show them that, no, right, this is it. No, this is it's just a small thing. It's fine. We'll get through it. We will do it. So sometimes you have to encourage yourself when things ain't going wrong. And I think that when you fail in something, it gives you opportunity to learn. How are you going to learn?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that you have to. It's hard to say don't fear anything, because I think that it's our nature to have that fear in us. Otherwise, the Bible wouldn't tell us not to fear. If we didn't, if there wasn't something that for us not to do, the Bible wouldn't tell us not to do it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that we do have that capability to feel fear, but it's about not allowing that fear to take control of you, and don't wallow in it. Do you know what I mean? Don't wallow in it. Deal with the issue straight away, and yeah, encourage yourself.
And what's the importance actually of having a team then?
It kind of takes a weight off you, I guess, as well. It helps, because if you've got a busy lifestyle, like if you're a mother, you know, you're working, trying to fit the time into trying to organise, you know, your business and everything, what you're doing, it's hard. So when you've got that support there, you can kind of delegate, you know, certain things for people to do. You can delegate tasks, you know, and also having someone there lifting you, you know, if times where you feel like things are getting on top of you, you've got another person there who can kind of just help, could give you a word of wisdom that will kind of help, you know, lift you back up, kind of set you back on the right path.
What if you don't have a team? Because at the end, like, I think one of my things as well has been, there's no one here to help me. So that also holds me back. So what if you don't have a team? Then what? You go on.
I think I was going to say that it kind of interlinks with the first question you asked when you said, have you ever started something and not completed it? And with Unashamed TV, I'll use Unashamed TV as an example. This is like 4 years old. Like honestly, in my mind, 4 years old, but it only came to like people only saw it like a year ago. It's only been a year old now. But one of the things that I was saying as well was like, oh yeah, but I don't have this person that can do this, can't do that. And it's all procrastination, that's what it is like. Do you know what I'm saying? That procrastination doesn't help no one, like, do you know what I'm saying? Doesn't help anyone but except for making you lazy. Do you get what I'm saying? So I said to myself, but how am I gonna afford this? How can I do this and that? And that's once again not putting my trust in God. I'm thinking I can do everything myself. And then so what happened was last year when same thoughts came to me, and you know what I said this time, do you know what? Hold on. And I was meditating, and God was like, well, look around you, who do you know? Who do you know? And names started popping up in my head. So I picked up the phone, I was like, obviously I'll fear as well, because they can say like, nah, I don't want to do this, but I was like, do you know what? Picked up, I was like, I want to start this, everything. And then every single person I spoke to, do you know what? I was thinking about this today, you know. I was like, oh my days. And then I knew, yeah, this was God. Like, it's like, I was just, and the fact that it said I was thinking about this today, I was like, whoa. So there was some urgency. So I think everything is prayer as well and meditation. If you, God knows, like, I always say that for every vision, there's a provision. Yes. God provides it. So He wouldn't put that dream inside of you if He hasn't given you a provision. If God wants you to start, like for example, a talk show, yeah, He knows you need equipment. You know, He'll provide all of these people. You might not know where it comes from, but it's not for you to know. Just put all the pressure on God, like, and just relax and just focus on what you need to do. So I would say, yeah.
And as a leader as well, so Natalie, you're currently, you know, leading your young people at your local church in Gateway. When your young people, or young person I should say, comes up to you and basically says, right, Natalie, I've tried and tried and tried again, but I just cannot get it right, whether it's an exam, whether it's them getting a job, or whether it's them getting into the right university, you know, what sort of advice would you then give to them to say you have to keep plugging? Because at times, yes, you know, we can say you have to have faith, you have to have faith, but, you know, how can that person gain faith being lost?
I think, for me, I don't like typical Christian answers. I'm really sorry. I don't like all this, you know, somebody says something, oh yeah, Jesus loves you. I don't, I'm not, do you know what I mean? I don't really too tough like that. I'm not saying that Jesus don't love people, please. Yeah? I'm just saying that those kind of typical, like, do you understand what I mean? So yeah. I think some people, they want somebody to stand with them.
Right.
You have to be prepared to stand with that person. So when they're saying they're feeling down, you have to be prepared as well to be transparent with them. You're going to have to share things with them. Do you understand what I mean? Sometimes when we go through things, it's not for us, it's for somebody else. Yeah. So we're going to have to stand with them. We're going to have to be saying, okay, we will do this with you. We will accompany you. Take the day off one day. Go and accompany them to the university thing and say to them, you know, sometimes they look at options or somebody else is there and they see something that you don't see. Do you know what I mean? And I said things like that I think would help to just encourage them that, you know what, I was down, but this person always stood with me. This person encouraged me. This person was right by my side. And, you know, you have to be prepared to do that. Yeah. That's what I would say, because sometimes that, oh, you know, faith it till you make it, or, you know, just keep praying about it. It's not help. It's not that helpful. It's really not that. You've got to be a bit more practical. Seriously, sometimes you've got to get a bit more practical because, yeah, sometimes you just don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And what would you normally do differently then?
No, I would say I'll do the same. I know currently, you know, I've got a situation like kind of like with my little sister. She really just needs my help. And you know, it's all good me saying to her when I say, you know, I'm going to pray for you, God's going to help you, put your faith. I can say all of that, but unless I'm showing, like, and it's all action, everything you do, the Bible kind of is based on action. It's always doing what you're doing. I have to show her the love of God. I have to, you know, even she came to my house like, you know, last week, and I kind of prayed for her, anointed her, and just since that one thing that I've done, literally it's stuck with her. She just keeps talking about it. She says to me, I'm really thankful for what you did for me the other day. That based on one action, just showing, it's just, I think it's shown her a lot. So it's helping her, you know, if she needs my help for me to go somewhere with her, you have to go. And it's exactly what Natalie said. It's about being a support, because it should by us, it should kind of by ourselves. So you need to be there for one another. The Bible calls us to help our brothers and sisters, when they're down and when we're trying to need, we need to support each other.
So then how do you support, especially if trying to support Natalie's dream and I've got my own dream? Like, how do you know, what is the balance then? Because, there comes a time, and again, refer to myself, like there was a time, and there is a time, I help others and I like to help others, but I help others so much to the point where I've been left to the back burner all these years, and it's only now that I'm able to actually take some steps of myself. So how do you help your brother, help your sister, as well as help yourself? Even if no one's there helping you, help yourself too. I
don't know, because I was in that situation whereby I was always there helping people, and always putting myself last. To a point when people kind of take advantage of your help. But I know it's just going to bring it back to faith, but it's like now, like even when it came to, trying to help my family with certain, battles and certain things that they're going through, it got so much that I kind of took a step back. I really just took a step back. Like, it didn't help because things, no one was helped, situations didn't change. But I guess, when you do come to Christ, I think it's knowing that He's there with you, you're not doing it on your own, He's carrying you. I think that's what helped me, because I've gone into this now with completely new eyes, knowing that I'm not alone. I can cast all my burdens onto Him, Christ Jesus, who will strengthen me. So it's, for me, that's what's helped my situation, because before I crashed and burned. I did.
And I think also as well, actually, if you ask or if you help someone, it's not always that they'll practically be able to help you and physically do it. They might know someone who knows what you need, so they will direct you to that person. So say for instance you do need equipment, then you ask somebody, and if that person doesn't have equipment, then they will say, I know one person who does, and then that's how they can help out. I don't think it's always physical help. That they always do all the time.
That's it. I guess it's not being spoon-fed, literally. Sometimes you might, but then I guess sometimes it's not always being spoon-fed, innit? But one thing that I did, I'll say I'll direct this to you, David, and to you, Rudy, because I honestly, I'm knowing the males out there in the big wide world, you know what I mean? Though, actually, to be fair, I do know some females that will just step out and do things, you know what I mean? But honestly, do you think that it is in the area of gender that guys are the more, they'll just get up and go for whatever and the girls are the more umming, ahhing, ifing, butting, excusing, emotional, and the guys just find it easy to just get up and go forth.
Okay, I don't believe that. I think it comes down to a mentality thing. I think you can't change your life unless you change your mental attitude. I think it's something to do with attitude, really. I think when you say men, women, I think things that men can accomplish, women can accomplish as well. There's women out there doing amazing stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think, I don't know how God created a female. Maybe they're a bit more emotional than men, but I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm not a woman. I can't answer for the women. The women are here, they can answer you. But one thing I know is that God didn't create us, the male, better than the female. So we can get that out right. The society has told us that, the male has to be, earning more money than a woman. Do you get what I'm saying? That's society. If you read the Bible, God doesn't encourage that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I believe it's an attitude thing. If you can change your attitude towards achieving certain things, I believe you can achieve it. It doesn't matter if you're a male, female, or even, it doesn't even matter which ethnicity or what background you come from. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if David wants to add something to that.
No, I think it's pretty much society that's made us you know, think inside that box that, you know, it's men, you know, because when you look at even like the corporate world, you see a majority of the senior members of a company are all male. When you look around, even in the UK, I think it's like 70% of like managing directors and CEOs are all male. So I think what normally tends to happen is that a woman will go for a senior position and they won't particularly get it, because there will be excuses. So it will be a case of, say for instance, you're in a company, you've been here for 9 years, you become pregnant, and then you take, you know, 9 months out, and then you take probably another 6 months on top of that. When you come back, that guy who was on your same level would have progressed because he's been doing the work. So a lot of that has actually caused a lot of women to miss out on opportunities in climbing the corporate ladder. But also as well, I think when you look at the Bible, a lot of men were called as leaders. So I think we have that instinct to be, you know, the go-getters, you know, to be the man of the house and that type of thing. When you look at Moses, Joshua, David, everyone, you know, Samuel, they were all called, appointed as leaders. So I think it's that a little bit of an ego thing as well, because it's like you don't want, you know, to be classed as, oh, that guy is a lowlife, that guy's not doing anything with themselves. You know what I mean? You want to be out there and making the name of yourself.
That's so true, because I would look at a guy and say, this is bomb. Can I say that? But yeah, that's what I know, honestly, I would, unless it, you know, so you're a man, be a man.
Yeah.
So it's true. That's the pressure. In some areas, you know what I mean? Yeah, but in certain areas, you know, not this, depending on what I'm talking about, the situation.
Well, I think as well though, that I think it depends on your background and how you was brought up. Because I don't see, I think that to me, I always saw my family working. They didn't, not necessarily had like some corporate or whatever job, but I always saw my family working. So for me, I see that as soon as you get NI number, you need to go out and work. Do you understand what I mean? Or if you're in education, then you need to be doing something. Either education or, do you know what I mean? Doing something in order to, you know, it's your mind, to keep your mind active, keep doing things, keep learning things. If you're working, it means that you're learning something, be it on the job or whatever. If you're in education, you're learning something. You can't expect to just sit at home and not do anything, because then you'll be picking up habits and no, that's not going to work. You understand what I mean? I don't think it matters whether you're a girl or a guy, and do you know what I mean? And I noticed that you didn't mention Deborah or none of those.
No women. No women.
What
about Mary?
I saw shaking head like
a majority were men.
She took a risk.
I know, she did.
Because she could have been killed.
Yeah.
Remember, she could have been killed if that scepter weren't.
That's true.
I
like it. Thank God for the women.
So I think it's just a natural thing. Sometimes us women, I think we procrastinate too much and we worry too much about, you know, what other people are going to think as well. Because I know that's one of the things that really held me back from being who I am. Just worrying about too much about what other people will think of me. If something doesn't go right, are people going to talk? People can always be negative, look at me a certain way. So I think that's one thing we always do. I think as women,
we're emotional.
So I was like,
wow.
It's true. But going back to the story, what you said about the upbringing, do you think that as well can be the reason why we don't jump out and go and venture out, because our upbringing, we've kind of been left to our own devices?
I think it definitely plays,
yeah.
I definitely think it plays a part. To some extent, I guess it depends on a person, but when you lack something, when you lack areas, then you're going to lack later on. Because you're not knowing, you don't know how to put those things to action. You've not seen it, so how can you then go put it into action?
But I think in that retrospect it could have the opposite effect as well. I think that you hear stories of people that they were poor, they grew up in such and such an area, and they made themselves determined that all of a sudden when they get to a certain age they're going to turn their life around, and you see them, they've made it.
That's true.
And they didn't have no upbringing that allowed them to have that space in order to, and they still did it. I think it can work both ways.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't really matter where you're coming from, it's about where you're going to. The reason why I'm saying that is even when you look at the biblical, like, for example, someone like David, who started, do you know where he started, like, looking after sheep and that, but he ended up in a palace. So, it doesn't really matter where you come from. Of course, our family, they do put a lot of pressure on young people because everyone wants to play God. Oh, I think, David, you're good at doing this, so you should become this, you should become that. But I think it comes down to finding who you are, like, do you know what I'm saying? Everyone's got something inside of them that the world needs, every single person, but sometimes because of society, because of parents, like I said, upbringing, we try to force things on people, like, oh, I think it would be good if you do this, I think it would be good if you do that. And most of the time we get doubted by our families, like, for example, when it was going to anoint David, like, his father brought all the other guys, the most good-looking one, the strongest one, this and that, and they forgot about him. It was like, and then he realised, oh, hold on, I've got a son over there, like, let's go and bring him. But I don't think it's him, like, I don't think he's that important. Bring him in, and he was like, oh, no, it's him. And the dad's shocked, like, huh, him? Like, look at all the men I've got down here. So, I mean, that's number one excuses we use a lot, like, I started broke, I started this and that. But like I said, it comes back to a mental thing, it's an attitude, like she just said, if you're determined, then nothing can stop you, like, do you know what I'm saying? It's a mind thing, but if you sit back and be like, oh, anyways, this is how life is, this is our condition, blah, 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 I was poor, I'm always going to be poor, this and that. Because there's people who started rich and became poor, so it's no excuse, do you get what I'm saying? So,
I agree. Yeah, I always wanted to be in the city working. That was always what I wanted to do in corporate, and yeah, I didn't stop. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it, and by God's grace, yeah.
There's a scripture in Ecclesiastes 11, verse 1 to 6, and it talks about going out and doing things. And there's a part in there that says about if you've got 7 or 8 ventures, 7 or 8, go and invest in. So if you've got 7 or 8, just go and invest and go out there and do things. Like, what does that mean? So if I've got, because I'm a person who, I've got loads of dreams and aspirations, all very different to one another. But so I just go out and in all of them, like today with my 10 visions, I try and implement them tomorrow. What does that mean?
I don't just rely on one thing, because if you, the grain in these days was your money, innit? That's your wages there. So you can't put all your investments into one thing. Anyone that does, I don't know, stocks and shares, not that I'm a broker by the way, but they will tell you don't put all your shares, don't buy shares in just one company. You spread it out a little bit. And that's the same. I think that sometimes when you start a venture or a dream of yours, there's always a branch from that dream or venture that you can always run on. I think this is what the scripture is saying. It doesn't mean that I'm telling people to start putting their money in 8 different things and and all of that. I'm just saying that for me, that's what I would say from the scripture.
So with my 7 different ideas, I should just go out and do all of them. How do you like?
No.
Okay.
Yes, you have to be wise in what you're going to do, and not only that, I think that you can't tell. You have to have. We talked about having a team and stuff like that, but it's not everybody you can share your vision with. You understand what I mean? Look at Joseph. Joseph thought that he had people, sometimes even your own family. You think that people who you thought would be supportive of you, they ain't going to be supportive of you. They would chuck you in the ditch and sell you off to Egypt, yeah? So you need to be careful who you share your vision with, and I think that, you have to be wise. Ask God for that mentor that's going to just, do you know what I mean? I think we always need a mentor. No matter what position you're in, whether you're a pastor this or whatever, I think you always should have some kind of mentor with you. That's just my personal opinion, but I think that, start to, okay, God, you've given me a vision for this, let me start to see, as Rudy said before, start to put the people, start meditating, start praying about it. I want to see the people, Lord, now. I need to see who's going to be with me, apply wisdom, discernment. We need all those things.
I think just to add to what she's saying, I think, obviously, many of us are gifted in different ways here, but it would be silly for you to do 7 things at the same time.
Yeah.
Because the reason why people fail is because of they don't focus enough. Like, it's going to take all your attention. Trying to do 7 things, yeah, it's going to take your focus. Because if you're trying to run this company, trying to do this, trying to do that, what will happen is, yeah, you lose distraction and you won't become a master in something. I think you become a jack of all trades. Like, do you know what I'm saying? You haven't mastered anything. And when you look at the successful people in life right now, yeah, if you narrow it down, they've just mastered one thing that they're really good, and that's what you look up to. There's some people who cross over. They might be a singer and an actor and that, but majority of the people, they've mastered one thing. And I believe, yeah, if you do something, if you focus on one thing, like the Bible is saying about 7 things, I believe it opens door to these other doors. Some people started as singers, ended up being an actor. Now they're a businessman, they're an entrepreneur. But if you try and do all of that things at the same time, you will lose focus. And the Bible tells us that we're allowed to do so many things, but not everything benefits us. Do you know what I'm saying? And certain things are good, but they're not right. Like, do you know what I'm saying? There's the difference between good and right. There's certain things that are right for you, but there's certain things that are good for you. But good is the enemy of right. You need to do the right thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think you need to narrow it down to what is important to you. What do you feel like God has asked you to do right now? You can start something today. It will open so many doors for you. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my take on it.
And so as we come to a close, I'm probably going to put this out to all of you, and I know whoever goes first will probably say most of the things. Everyone will be like, yeah, I've got confidence. But say someone has an idea now, who's sat there watching this, and they are thinking, how am I going to start this? How am I going to venture it? What am I going to do to implement things to, be put in place? What, just bullet points and outlines that they need to abide by in order to make sure that they are able to achieve what they want to achieve. Leverne?
Number one, is this what you want to do? I think it's really important to just make sure you're certain, because sometimes you can maybe think, this is your passion, but it's not really. You kind of go into it and then you realise, no, it wasn't for me. So I think it's just taking that time to really just kind of meditate and just really find out if this is your desire. Yeah, my second point, probably kind of step out in faith and trying to break that fear, because again, you are probably in that mind, you are fearful, you're not sure, what's going to happen, what steps do I need to take, but it's kind of maybe just, I know it's going to sound, Google. Sometimes just Google and kind of see what steps you need to kind of take.
So you'll say it's a specific industry.
Just kind of see out, because I know with outreach, that's what I did as well as afterwards when God's made me speak it, kind of tell the rest of my friends about it, and it's happened, but I still literally took the time out to go on Google and kind of see how outreach works, what kind of steps I need to do, because there's certain places that God wants to take it, so I had to kind of look. Haven't got there yet, but I trust, but I had to kind of do my research. So it's that person, I'll just suggest to them that they just do their research as well and kind of see what help they can get. Because there are funding. I know we all think that there's not a lot of funding, but there is funding out there. To see if what help's available. And just be fearless. Just fearless.
I like that.
Rudy?
I would say I'll give him 2 points. One, I'll be like planning. I think people need to plan. The Bible tells us write down the vision and make it plain. I think what happens is when you put something down on paper, you commit, you make a commitment to yourself. Why do you think when we do certain things, people, when we do certain business ventures, they draw up contracts because have a look and then sign it. So I believe until someone write down a plan, I don't think they're serious about it, because I believe because if you want something, if you got a big vision maybe you want to do outreach like what you're doing, you need to have steps okay, this is what I'm going to do in the first year, in the first 5 years, this is what I'm trying to reach, and all of that. When you look at Christ, yeah, he planned his life. How do I know that? Because there was a time where his mum and he was with his mum and they were at his wedding, and then his mum asked him, "Oh, we've run out of wine," and he said, "Oh well, mum, my time hasn't come." You can only say that if you've got a plan. Right? You know what I'm saying? If he didn't have a plan, he wouldn't tell his mum, "Oh, my time hasn't come." He would be like, "Oh yeah." But he's probably structured his life like, I can only do this from 30 plus, like I can't do this right now. You know what I'm saying? But we know the story because of obedience to mum, he did it anyways. So that would be one. And number two, I'll tell him, just like what she said about research, I always say that there's always someone out there that's done this before. The Bible tells us there's nothing new under the sun. Like, you're not the only one that's trying to do this. Why make mistakes that's been there already? Like, someone's done that mistakes for you already. You can you can basically, what took someone 20 years here, you can pick up a book, you know, read it in 2 minutes and get that secret and then avoid all that pain and all of that stuff. So I always believe in every industry, whichever industry, there's these top pioneers or whoever, the people on top. Look at what they did. That can save you so many years of, you know, of things that you that can go wrong. So those are the two things. So I'll say plan and do research on who the ones that are out there and just learn from them. You shouldn't become like them, but you should learn from them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling people, oh, become just like David. Like, you know what I'm saying? Learn what David did. What was his secrets? What was his principles? Learn from it and become the best you. Become brave.
All right. Natalie, you got anything to add to that?
The only thing that I would add is that watch this again and get a pen and a piece of paper, because throughout it there's been some valuable points that have been said. Whether you're Christian, whether you're non-Christian, there's been some valuable points. So watch this again and get your pen and paper.
Wow, that is great advice. So get a pen and paper, make sure that the actual vision is yours, research, and also do some planning, and remember, be fearless.
So what are those dreams, what are those visions that you've been hanging on to, holding on to, that you're yet to jump out on? What are those things that you're fearful of? What are the reasons? What are the excuses? What goes through your mind? What is stopping you to go forth and to make your dream a reality? Maybe you need to find an accountability partner. Maybe you need to find someone, a mentor. Maybe you need to pick up a book, and maybe you need to go to Google. Whatever it is, get up and do it. Don't sit down. It's time to arise and go forth into your dream.
I just want to thank Rudolf, Leverne, and also Natalie for being wonderful panellists and giving a great insight on this topic. It's actually amazing having you guys down. Peoples, make sure you subscribe.
Yes, but I want to thank David. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
And he will be back. He will be back. We don't know where, we don't know what form, but he will be back. You've been excellent. And yeah, guys, we just pray that you will just go forth now, and that whatever help you need, you know, that you'll just reach out to somebody and to get that help. Put your comments below, you know, subscribe, put your comments below, what we can just stand with you in prayer for, you know, just what are your thoughts on all that was said. And we will look forward to seeing you for the next part of Transparent Talk.
The truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. Cause who the sun sets free is free indeed. The truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. Cause who the sun sets free is free indeed. I said the truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. Cause who the sun sets free is free indeed. The truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. Cause who the sun sets free, listen. Christ is just and must punish sin. So he died for us and suffered punishment. He paid for the biggest debt and proved his love for men. The wages of sin is death, he moved the funds on him. The wage was way enormous, he came and paid it for us. Was slain, obtained grave pain, was greatly tortured, was raised from a bitter death, and soon will come again. He came and he finished it, no room for other men. Cause when he died, he said, it is finished. So tell me why certain heads won't admit it. Believing guys have been sent with religions that are different. It's lies, so repent for your sinning. That's not another gospel, it's a different one. A fake angel of light to try and pervert you. Yeah, it has certain truths, but it's missing some. Takes one flag to putrefy the perfume.